My name is Markjima, and welcome to another Yap Sesh. Now, the FGC is a community I've been a part of for a very long time now. In terms of fighting games, I started with the PS2 Mortal Kombat games, along with Tekken 4 and Tag 1. I didn't get into Street Fighter until I saw Street Fighter 4 advertised when I was out once, and my uncle bought it. And then when I got my own PS3, I got Super Street Fighter 4 and then Ultra Street Fighter 4. I would play it casually, play with some friends, play online. I wasn't too serious about trying to get good at the game. I'll just throw my fireballs and play my favourite characters at the time. And it's kind of how it was for most fighting games up until Mortal Kombat 9 came out. I got that when that released as well. My granddad bought me that. And I played that again with friends online. And that's around when I started to actually step into the community, looking on YouTube and Googling things and tips and so on and so forth. That continued into MKX, which is when I properly started locking in, and I was watching guides and texts and looking at who has the best variations, the strongest characters, setups, run cancels, the brutalities, everything. And MK11, I played a bit of that. I play MK1 now to this day. I played a bit of Street Fighter 5, not too much. I got it when it came out, played it for a bit, and then I left it for a long time, up until probably when Street Fighter 6 got announced, and then I went back to Street Fighter 5. I played a lot of Seth, because he had JoJo references, and it was cool as hell. And then Street Fighter 6, which I've taken a bit of a break from now, because there isn't much going on character-wise that I'm interested in. But when I do play, I play Jamie, my GOAT. And also I play Tekken 7, and now I play Tekken 8. I've just started playing Lars. He's so sick. But in terms of the actual fighting game community itself, it has to be my favorite community, like full on between like any games or anything. There's from the content creators such as Maximilian dude, who's like the main guy who got me into fighting games at like a deeper level to like appreciate them. See, everyone sings his praises enough. I don't need to meet with him anymore. Like tournaments such as Evo and CEO. I recently went to a tournament versus fighting in my city, and seeing the stories between these players and seeing how all the pros play them all differently, and the stories they have and the rivalries and the beef that they have, and like the heroes, the underdogs, the villains. It's so fun to see that develop through a fighting game, no less. And not to mention, the FGC is full of memes.
Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose.
And so many like insane moments, from players popping off to shit talking.
There's gonna come a point when you forget about what happened, and you're gonna want to come back at me, and you're gonna want to wash the taste of my dick out of your mouth.
To beef, to rivalry, to rages, the commentators, the players themselves doing some crazy things. Like at the one I went to at Versus Fighting, the one player, I forget his name, I'll show it on screen here. He had these bath salts, and I remember I was playing casuals with my friend that he was with us, and they stank like shit. I don't know what he was huffing, but like, there's so many moments I could highlight in the video, but I don't want to make it too long of a watch. But the community is amazing. Evo this year, 2024, my favorite Street Fighter player, Punk, he finally won Evo after years and years of coming so close, and he finally won. And it was such an amazing moment seeing someone work so hard and they finally won the pinnacle, the highest prize in the fighting game community.
It's his retribution, his revenge. He is your Street Fighter 6 Evo champion.
#1 at Evo, at the biggest game. I think there was over 10,000 people who entered for Street Fighter 6, and he was #1. Like, that's just insane to me. And then of course you had Sonic Fox, who won MK, and Arthur Ashe, who won, I believe, his 5th Tekken Evo in a row, which is like insane. Like, he is the greatest Tekken player of all time. It's crazy. And going to my first event at Versus Fighting, being surrounded by people who love this community. There was so much, there was art there, and they had arcade cabinets for older games like Capcom vs SNK 2, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 3. They had the anime games like Dragon Ball Fighters, Guilty Gear. We had Street Fighter 4, at MK1, Tekken 8, like just playing sets with these people, just like people you've never met before in your life, just sitting down, playing the game, just like it's such a great experience. And there's like a group photo. It was great. I loved it. One of my favorite like PS at the time. It was over the course of a weekend. I'll show the photo, and it was great. And of course, interacting with people. I bumped into a couple of people, Tendo and King J. Ryan Hart was there, very old school Tekken Street Fighter player. He's been there for a long time. He's insane. And just getting together in a room and watching these pro players duke it out was just such an amazing feeling. As someone who's been a fan of these games for as long as I can remember, some of my earliest memories are playing Mortal Kombat, playing Tekken, and getting to be in an environment where all of these people are here for the same thing. It's such an incredible feeling. The first time I ever went to any type of fighting event, I got told by a manager at my job, and he was like, oh, my friend's brother or something runs this Tekken tournament like every other week, you should go to one, because I beat his ass at Tekken when we went to his house after work once. And I went, and it was great. Like, everyone was so welcoming, and I feel like that's true of the entire community, to be honest. Like, they would give you advice or give you tips. It's always good vibes and a fun time. Like, you're never gonna feel out of place, or like, it just, everyone's so welcoming there. And I went there, I got my ass beat, because I'm in a dilemma where I'm better than most of my friends that said fighting games, but I am nowhere near good enough to compete. However, if it's just a little local, it's nothing too serious, you know, it's all fun and games, right? No, there was a cash war, I think it was like 100 quid for number one, but one day I'll get there. I'm gonna lock in and get there. But anyway, that happens every now and then. My situation is just there isn't a lot of events in my city aside from the one I just went to, Versus Fighting, which is every year, every August, I believe. And then my other local, King Otaku Gaming. I can't wait to go to more, to be honest. One of my things on my bucket list, I don't have many things on there, to be real, kind of boring in that sense. But one of my top things is I want to go to Vegas and go to Evo. And that will literally probably be my favourite event, because that's like the pinnacle. Everything is there, from like obviously the players themselves, all the games they have, the commentators, the content creators, the artists, the cosplayers, everything. It's just literally, I couldn't imagine anywhere else where I'd want to be other than Evo. So hopefully one day I get to go there, and that'll be fantastic. One of my favourite things about the FGC is at the moment, well, not even at the moment, probably from around Mortal Kombat 10, I want to say, outside of like Smash and their crossovers, but Mortal Kombat 10, and they've revealed characters. They've revealed the Predator, Alien, Jason Voorhees, and Leatherface as guest characters. Now Mortal Kombat's the main one, does that. Tekken does as well. They haven't yet in Tekken 8, but Tekken does. And the fact that these, what used to be a somewhat niche community, and still somewhat is, the fact that they can get these characters into this genre, with like how Tekken got Negan from The Walking Dead, and then also Noctis from Final Fantasy, and then Mortal Kombat 1 had Homelander, Omni-Man, and Peacemaker, and just revealed Ghostface and Conan the Barbarian and T-1000. I'm not sure about my Terminator, but, and that brings in so many people. And even in MK9 they had Kratos. It was a PS3 exclusive, to be fair, but the fact that they got Kratos in Mortal Kombat was so sick. And in Street Fighter 6 they just announced 2 King of Fighters characters with Terry and Mai coming over, and that Street Fighter 6 is not from Street Fighter 6. I think that's Street Fighter's first collab character. They do crossovers, like we've got Marvel vs Capcom, and there's Capcom vs SNK and stuff like that, but there haven't been a Street Fighter game where they've just had another character just playable, with the exception of like Final Fight. But at this point, Final Fight and Street Fighter are basically like the same franchise, and it's just great seeing these characters cross over, because outside of Smash Brothers, like I mentioned earlier, there isn't really a fighting game that has all these characters in there. And speaking of Smash Brothers, that's just another type of fighting game. There's so many types of fighting games that you can get into. That's what I believe, that when people say, oh, I don't like fighting games, I just think that they haven't found the right fighting game. You have your traditional 2D fighters like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. You've got your 3D fighters like Tekken or Virtual Fighter or Dead or Alive. You got arena fighters like Storm 4 and the new Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. You've got platform fighters like Smash and Brawlhalla. You have your anime games like Dragon Ball Fighters, Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, and there's just so many. No matter what you're into, there's a fighting game for you. There's a character that you like. For me, I like characters who are typically very fast-paced, very rushdown oriented, in your face, a lot of pressure, or if their personality is interesting. But I typically go for personality first, and then gameplay has to be kind of on par. But sometimes I just gotta play a character and it clicks. Like for example, in Mortal Kombat, my favourite character is Johnny Cage. And he's my favourite character because not only is he rushdown focused with a lot of pressure and plus frames and mix up, but because of the Mortal Kombat movies from 1995, the performance in that movie, I really liked his charisma and his jokes and just how he is as a character.
Those were $500 sunglasses, asshole.
That made me also want to play him, and that was the perfect match. In Street Fighter, my favourite character was Ken, and I mean, he just looks cool. He does a flaming Shoryuken. He's Ryu but cooler to me. Like I was in Ken, he's Ryu but cooler. Nowadays, they're very much separate characters, but that's how it used to be for me anyway. And then Jamie got introduced in Street Fighter 6. I think he's sick. He drinks, he does old drunken boxing style. The more he drinks, the stronger he gets. I just think that's so cool. In Tekken, I used to play Miguel in Tekken 7, and he didn't get added in Tekken 8 yet. Fingers crossed. He hasn't got added in Tekken 7 yet. So I also played Negan because, I mean, he's my favourite character in The Walking Dead. He's the reason why I started watching the show. And neither of them are in Tekken 8, so I started playing Dragunov, who is a top tier. I played him literally because he was very good, and I had fun with him. And then I took a break from Tekken because Mortal Kombat came out, so I didn't really play. I came back about a few weeks ago and now started playing Lars, and I found my new main until Miguel gets added, if he even gets added in Tekken 8. He's kind of a mainstay. He came in Tekken 5, he's been in every game since, but he's not in 8 yet. But Lars is so cool. Lars is a case where I love his gameplay, but I'm not too fond of his personality. It's all things that he's like in love with a robot, and you know, he's fighting for justice and save the world and whatnot. I mean, cool, whatever. But the way he plays is so cool. He has like 3 different stances, constant mix up. He's really fast. I really like fast-paced characters, like I mentioned, and he's just so sick. And I mean, like I said, the community is amazing, and even if you aren't into playing the games, spectating them now is better than ever. There's so many creators who, even if they aren't fighting game focused, make fighting game content. For example, I can't remember the name, I'll have to show it on screen here, but there was a creator who got a bunch of different content creators outside of the fighting game community, put them on teams with like Tekken coaches, and then made them compete. I remember seeing SK, Overwatch player, and she was there, and now she likes Tekken because she got part of it, and now she plays Tekken. And I just love seeing people get into it and like seeing them learn the game, getting into the community more. It's just great. And you got things like Evo and these big tournaments that are always streamed, and even just memes out of the community that end up going mainstream, and even just seeing memes that leave the community and end up going to the mainstream, even simple things like the low tier god meme and so many other ones. But that's like the most notable one of recent memory that I can think of anyway. But yeah, I think the community is amazing. Whether you play it or you watch it, you're good at it or you're not. I just think fighting games are some of the most rewarding type of video games to play and to get decent at. And some of the most fun you can have with your friends. Some of the most fun you can do in terms of any esports. Like between watching a Valorant tournament and watching a Tekken tournament, I'm choosing Tekken every day. And Tekken especially, they really go into making it a good spectacle to watch with like the slow motions and the huge sound effects they do and the sparks. It's just an incredible spectating experience, and I highly recommend anyone, even with the slightest interest in it, you just gotta find the game for you. Even if it's a Dragon Ball game, You know, you like anime, you like the anime, you play the game. You know, and like I said earlier, there's absolutely a fighting game for everyone. You just have to find the one for you. I'm Markjima. This was my upset about the FGC and I guess fighting games as a whole. If you like the video, leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you in my next episode.